in order to choose a spiritual sanity over a spiritual insanity, of a loss or betrayal of spirit. I can decide to try and follow along a path of light and spirit, an inner reality that is the breath of life to a living soul. It can be, if only I make a willful effort, followed hopefully by a willing spirit along with an inspiration for being. The experience of inner beauty can be a perception of inner light. Inspiration and enlightenment are sparks of that light. I seek a spiritual sanity in attaining a truer perspective of a spiritual reality rather than one of fantasy or delusion. In my biological father's household, I had to live a lie by being in denial about traumatic, horrific childhood experiences that were occurring and happening to me in order to have the opportunity to have a life to live in the distant future. I was broken. A beginning of my attempt to heal was to try not to make myself more ill than what I already was. I had to try to acquire and practice a passion for having an inner life to want to be alive. I embarked upon a trek of an inner endeavor of trying to be. I lived apart from what I was in my past life. I practiced separation and avoidance of my past traumas. Using my self-will became of the utmost importance. I had to strive to try to reject and negate what was done to me in the past. I began to make a willful effort to become other than what I thought I was, a broken being of shame and disgrace. I had to be inventive. What worked for me was putting body and soul into my attempt at being by making it as real as possible through a higher realm of dimension of thought, feeling, and being. Writing has been a huge aid in making life desirable enough to at least endure and persevere through its daily chores and difficulties. I compel myself to choose to try to be aware of a living spirit within me. Each day is always an opportunity for a new beginning. If I so desire to travel along a different path other than the one from yesterday, for so many years I felt a negation of light within. I was my own worst enemy. I experienced a distorted and twisted sense of a reality of self-hatred and a self-inflicted spiritual insanity. As I began to idealize suicide as some sort of noble ideal to aspire and strive towards an attempting being, I further alienated myself from the miracle and spontaneity of feeling, being, and inner creation. I became sicker spiritually, not in an evil or through an evolution of bad behavior, but in a way where I felt and thought I was a failure at making life work out for me in a constructive manner. I was hopeless and despairing. The only sane, logical action to take was to wish for death. I became spiritually insane without being aware of how sick and pathetic I actually was. I am so thankful that when I acted out in such ill-fated suicidal dramas, I came up short in taking my own life. I always found a reason or spark of life within to want to keep on trudging along like the rest of humanity. I possess an intangible, a living soul, an intimacy of spirit and light to share with another. There is a deeper level of pain and despair within me. It is one of having been shamed, debased, humiliated, ridiculed, and being preyed upon The damage that was done to me cut deep inside me. I tried to breathe in a warmth of feeling and to exhale by letting go of any unhappiness or misery that I might be feeling at the moment. I hope and I try to bring a spiritual dimension to my everyday life. I seek creative interaction throughout the day to spark an inspiration to be within in a way of light and spirit. I can try to create an inner path of being to follow by opening a portal in my mind to a gateway to choose hope and inner being over despair and misery, to escape a dreariness of my own making, each day an opportunity for a new beginning, to aspire towards a spontaneity of feeling and being within. I practiced art of inner creation through a phenomenon of spirit and light, a passion to bring to life a sacred unknown within, the impossible becoming real, more incredibly wonderful than anything from within the deepest blue of the universe.